Hi, welcome to another episode of The Edge. My name is Jaiden Tabor, and today I am joined by Miss Leyna Steffen, the Dean of College Admissions here at PTHS. In 2017, over 20.4 million students applied and were expected to attend American colleges and universities. Being a student faced with the everyday challenge of teenagers, finding the time to sit down and discuss the questions I have about my future can be difficult. Ms. Steffen helps students decide the details to each individual's differences on the topics such as where to attend, what to study, and all the questions in between. Today we'll be discussing these questions in hopes of finding some answers for students and parents. So thank you for being here. So you, along with doing the college admissions and stuff, you help students with a lot of other things, like you organize the assemblies. So do you want to give us a little job description?
Sure. I'm here to really help with all aspects of college and career readiness, as well as to support the counseling department in the social, emotional, and academic pieces of everyday life here at the high school. So that may entail helping with assemblies, that may entail scheduling college and career readiness activities. So it truly varies. Yeah.
So I mean, I chose this topic because being a junior, like I'm thinking about doing all the college and stuff. How did you get involved with this, being a college dean?
I think it's an exciting opportunity to just really look at one's future. And it can be a very overwhelming task to think about what we want to do and what our post-secondary plans are. But there's a lot of tools and there's a lot of people out there to help you on that journey. And so it's really exciting to be able to assist with the goals, assist with the journey, and see students succeed with what they want to do.
Yeah, that's good. So where did you go to college?
So I went to, through the SUNY school system, the State University of New York. I went to Potsdam for my undergrad. I went to Plattsburgh for my graduate work, and then I've also gone to High Point University for graduate work.
Okay, so what options are available for kids who don't want to go to college? How do you help kids who they know college isn't right for them? They maybe trade school. What else? What other options are there?
It's all about the right fit for students, whether it be college, whether it be going into military, whether it's military first and then college after, or trade school, or going right into a career. So it's really about exploring a student's interests and their abilities and looking at what it is that they want. So talking to a student, really trying to find out what it is, what the right fit is for them, and then working from there as to how we can get there.
Yeah. So when do you recommend a good time to start preparing for the transition? Like junior year, senior year? When's too little, too much, too late?
I don't think you can ever prepare too early.
Yeah.
If you remember back to your elementary school years, you were still doing interest surveys back at that time with your counselors and with your teachers. You were exploring interests, exploring abilities. That's the beginning to really starting to plan for your post-secondary plans. When it comes to really preparing for what you plan to do after high school, a junior year is a big time to start looking at whether you're college bound, to start exploring colleges, whether you're career focused and what you need to do to get there. Junior year, we do say is a big year.
SAT,
That's
ACT,
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's when you're taking your college tests or preparing for college with the tests of the SAT, ACT, the springtime of your junior year. But really, there is no time where it's too early to start thinking about and dreaming.
Yeah, I've noticed with the SAT, ACT, preparing for that has put a lot of stress on me, like overwhelming, and then finding myself disconnecting from my school, like actually preparing for school. How do you help students who feel overwhelmed with that?
I think that one of the best things to do is to sit down and organize yourself. Write down the tasks that you need to complete, write down what it is that you need to do and prioritize those. And really sit down with a calendar and try to set goals for yourself, short-term and long-term, to help with that. I think a lot of students try to do that, but then other things get in the way. You've got AP exams coming up, you've got finals coming up, so it is hard, but you really just have to sit down and try to prioritize.
Yeah. So do you help students with applications?
I'm available for any type of questions that may come up. A student's counselor it is always available to them. If students want to sit down and talk with me, I'd be happy to do so as well.
So how do you make college applications more appealing?
I would say just exploring Common App has made college applications really accessible and pretty easy. Many colleges utilize the Common App. We've just had some recent colleges, or some colleges just recently add to the Common App, like Penn State. So just exploring the ways to apply to college and also utilizing Naviance. It's a wonderful program, and it really helps you to know how to apply and what you need, what's recommended for the different schools.
How many colleges would you say is a good amount to apply for? Because I noticed that, well, my parents want me to go to OU. They have me set on OU, but what if I don't like OU? Where should I go? Like, how many colleges do you recommend is a good amount to apply for?
I believe every student is different,
Yeah.
and it's certainly dependent upon conversations you've had with your family, what's good for you. But I would say that you want to apply to a couple safe schools that you really feel confident based on utilizing history, possibly with through Naviance of students that have gotten in the past that are similar to you, or acceptance rates utilizing that type of information. So a couple safe schools, maybe a couple reach schools, and go from there.
Yeah. So along with that, what about students who want to go far? Do you recommend that to them? I mean, if they want to get out of Peters, go somewhere far away, do you recommend that's a good idea or no, because you're far away from home?
I think it depends on the individual.
Yeah.
There are some students that they really feel like they need to be a little bit closer to home, and that's okay. And then there's some students that feel like I am ready to get out, explore, to see a new place, and that's great too. And the best way to start thinking about that is to really go and step on a campus, whether it's near or far, to see what the type of feel is, and to really think about how you would feel being an hour from home, or how you'd feel about being a 6-hour drive or a 6-hour plane ride.
Yeah. So on the opposite, what about commuting? Can that be a negative impact on students in college?
I don't believe that it can be a negative impact. It's all about what your goals are. Commuting can help with saving a lot of money with room and board. There are some aspects where with commuting you may have a more difficult time trying to connect. So if you are commuting, it's important to reach out to the different clubs and organizations on campus so that you still can connect with others and get a community feel. Yeah.
So what about finding roommates? I know that's been a big struggle for some of my friends that have gone off to college, and they go on, you can find, they can pair you with someone, right? Like the colleges can.
Yes, it depends on the college. So colleges tend to have their own ways of pairing roommates, and they utilize social media often to do so, where they're trying to find the right fit for you as a roommate.
So what happens if you end up having negative, bad things happen with you and your roommate?
You really just need to reach out to the college that you're at, because they all have first-year experiences to help freshmen with the transition to college.
So going back to applying to multiple colleges, what are good factors to consider when you're trying to decide? Like listing out pros and cons.
Absolutely. So if you have an idea of what your major is, that's certainly a factor. So making sure that the college has your major. Considering whether or not you want to go to a small school or a larger school. Do you want to stay close? Do you want to go far away? As far as larger schools, things to consider: who teaches your course, the classes that you're in. Is it a college professor? Is it a student assistant? So there's lots of things to consider. If you're unsure of your major, maybe considering going to a bigger school that offers a lot more programs, so you have opportunity to explore there. Financial assistance. Is it a school that offers a lot of scholarships? Sometimes private schools can offer more scholarships than public schools or state schools. So just lots of things to think about when it comes to social aspects of on campus, clubs and organizations, to the academic piece, to the financial piece.
And how do you help students decide where to go to school if they don't know what they want to do, if they want to go in undecided?
I would say to consider the other factors then. Start with far away or close by. Try to narrow down based on some individual questions. And again, utilizing Naviance and comparing different colleges through Naviance can really help you to see what's out there. I would also encourage students, starting with junior year, when we have college visits and college representatives to come, to really take the time to come and talk with those college representatives to learn more about the individual colleges.
So can going in undecided be harmful to students? Like when you're taking all these undecided classes to try and figure out what you want, that's taking away credits to being a major. Can it be adding on years?
It depends on the program that you end up settling or deciding on, whether it can be hurtful or not. Typically, with programs, you have a lot of classes that you'll need to take that aren't necessarily related to your major, so you can often utilize those as the electives within your major, or that might go towards a minor that you may decide. So going in undecided isn't necessarily a negative, and some colleges don't even want you to declare until your sophomore year because they understand that you're still exploring.
And you could change your mind later on.
Absolutely, and you certainly don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So
is it important to go into college with an end game in mind? Like we said, going in undecided can be, colleges want you to do that, but like having an end game, do you want your future to be big or small? Like, is it more important to have something like that opposed to having a major set out?
I think it's important to have an idea of an end game. It doesn't have to be specific.
Yeah.
So, certainly whether you want a career and what type of career do you want, or what do you want your life to look like? Those are some general questions that can help you to narrow down. So having that type of end game in mind, and to more specific to the type of major that you want, it just depends on the individual.
Okay, so we're going to take a short break. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
My grandfather served in World War II. Spending time with him were the best memories of my life. I became a physician at VA because of my grandfather, so I can help others like him. I can't imagine working with better doctors or a more dedicated staff. I'm fulfilling my life's mission with the help of my team and thanks to these veterans. I'm proud to be a doctor at VA and proud to honor my grandfather every day. Search VA Careers to find out more.
Hi, welcome back. My name is Jaiden Tabor, and today we're talking about college and transitioning, and I'm here joined with Miss Steffen. So, as you said earlier, you mentioned financial aid. What exactly is that?
So financial aid is essentially how you're going to pay for college, the financial aspects of it. The first place to start is typically to fill out a free application called the FAFSA, and that is done in the fall. And it's a free application online. You utilize the prior year's tax information, so it's helpful to sit down with your parents and fill out that free application online. From there, that will help to determine if you're eligible for any financial assistance and any grants. It may offer some parent loans, different types of things, or it may show that you need to pay out a certain amount, or you may need to look at some private loans. But it really helps the college that you end up applying to as well to help with that financial package that they give you after you've been accepted.
Yeah, so do you recommend taking a gap year if you have to pay for college yourself?
I would say it's dependent upon the individual. If that's something that you feel like you would benefit from with taking that year off to save, and you believe you can set those goals and keep with those, then absolutely something to consider.
Do student loans, do they kick in after you graduate, or do you have to pay them throughout your college?
So typically with student loans, they through the government, it is something you start paying back so many months after you've graduated, typically 6 months after you've graduated. You can start paying those back.
And what do you recommend to students who feel like money is the only situation that's holding them back from going to school?
I would say that there's the right fit for everyone, even if money is a factor. We can look at different scholarships. We can look at different schools that may offer more financial support in scholarships themselves. We can look at community college as an option. There's different programs out there, even if finances is a concern.
So what scholarship opportunities are offered here at Peters Township?
The best way to find out about scholarships is through Naviance. We do have, I will refer you that.
To Naviance.
Yes,
Everyone loves
absolutely.
Naviance.
Absolutely.
It's a great source, yeah.
Absolutely. So there is a scholarship list out there that's sent out from the counseling department that's updated frequently. And now in the springtime is a really important time, especially for seniors, to be working on looking at those lists, especially for local scholarship opportunities to apply for.
Does it also update through other schools, not only through the ones you can apply for at Peters Township, but it has scholarship opportunities for the schools that are on there?
So it will show the local scholarship opportunities that we're aware of, and it may have other national scholarship opportunities. Typically, the best thing to do for a specific college is to look at their financial page and their scholarship page. If you know that you're going to Penn State, for example, take a look at their website, and they will provide the specific information for their school.
So about community college, do they look at your SAT scores as well? I know that's, for some people, the financial aspect, along with the GPA, also stuff like that. Do people go there because they are afraid they can't get into another college, or do they go there mostly because of financial?
I think it depends. There's lots of reasons to go to a community college. One could be to simply explore different options that are available to you, to take some different classes that could transfer to a 4-year program. Another reason is simply if you know what you're doing and it only requires an associate's degree, then there's no need to go to a 4-year, and community college is what you need. Another reason may be to save money because those classes can be less expensive than some other options available. So there's lots of reasons to go that can be beneficial depending on what your end goal is.
So after that, what do you recommend to students who obviously don't have you to talk to anymore? Is there a counselor that would be at community college that can help them transition into a 4-year college?
Yes. So every school, every college has support available to students that attend, whether it be career counseling or exploring how to transfer. There are different resources out there for them.
That's good. So what makes a college or university a good school when transferring from community college?
It
varies.
It absolutely varies, and it simply just depends on the program that you're looking for at that point. And it's much like a similar transition from high school to college, or from community college to a 4-year program, or depending on what you're looking for. If you have an idea in mind of what your end game is, certainly reaching out to those colleges, looking at what would transfer and what would be needed to be successful with the end game in mind.
So so what happens then if somebody they transfer from the community college, or really just going to school in general, and they realize that college isn't for them? Do you recommend dropping out, or would you say that to stick it out until the end of the year, end of the semester, just to get the credits? Which recommendation would you have for someone like that?
It's dependent upon what the reasoning is behind it. If it's something that you can make it through the semester, then certainly that can be beneficial, because at least you have some credits depending on if they would transfer or not. So it's dependent upon if they'll transfer to the school that you want to end up going to. A lot of times at that point you're committed financially, so there's lots of factors that go into it. But if you're planning on transferring, trying to finish out this semester may be the best option for you, because at least you'll have some credits.
And what do you recommend to students who want to drop out because they're homesick or some reason like that?
I think it depends on what it is that you want to do in the end. Is it something where you can find support? If you're homesick, there's lots of different things to do your freshman year to get involved and realize that you're not alone. There are many students feeling that same way, and there are counselors available on college campuses to support in the social emotional piece, in career planning, and the transition for freshman year, because colleges, when they accept you and when you attend, they want you to be just as successful.
Yeah.
So they're going to do everything they can to support you. So reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out to the resources that you have on your campus.
And I know a lot of like 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds that are ending up going back to college. Is that probably good or better for students who don't think that the time is right for them to just take a gap year or so?
I would say that it's dependent upon the right fit. There is a right fit for college. There's a right fit for timing. It all depends on what's happening in that person's life, and it's really an individual's decision about what it is that they want to do, what are their goals, and how can we get there.
So going back to applying to multiple colleges, why is that a good idea?
The amount of applications that have increased with colleges. So acceptance rates can vary, and college acceptance rates are really based on that year, what they're looking for in their freshman class, and who are they accepting. So even though you may have the leadership qualities and the community service, and you've done a lot for your school, and you've done well academically, it's possible you could be denied into a college that year. It's possible you could be accepted. There really is no magic ticket to a specific college. So certainly applying to more than one school just simply increases your chances into getting to a program that you're interested in.
And what if I get denied at a certain school? It's my dream school. I didn't have the grades. I didn't have the SAT scores. And I go back, and do colleges like the commitment to their school if you were to reapply?
So sometimes if you go to a different college and you decide that, you know what, I really still am interested in that original dream school, you always can apply and see if you can transfer. And the decision may change. And it may be helpful then to work really hard into the college that you're accepted in. And if you can maintain grades your freshman year, that may help you to be accepted the next year.
So I was doing some research. Interviews, do they only ask a few people to come in for interviews? Like, how do the interviews work with the meeting with the dean?
It depends on the college, and it depends on the program. There's different types of interviews for different purposes. And sometimes it's in front of a panel, sometimes it's in front of one person, sometimes you may have many interviews, so it's really dependent upon the school and the program.
So how can I prepare for my interview if I were to ask to come in?
I would say that we would look at what it is. Is it to get into a specific program? Is it to get into a specific college? So we would try to think about what the purpose of the interview would be. Is it going to be general questions? Is it going to be specific to things that you have done, opportunities that you've had? When uncertain about what types of questions to ask, we would really focus in on the opportunities that you've had and think about what it has done for you as a person. Because a lot of times colleges want to know, or admissions officers or whoever may be doing the interview may want to know about you as a person. How are you going to benefit their campus? So they've seen what you can do on paper, but now they want to be able to absolutely see what your personality is like and see how you can benefit them.
Yeah. So lastly, before we run out of time, I wanted to ask you just in general, the transitioning aspect of going to college or going to a real job or going to trade school.
Right.
What can you tell students who feel really nervous about that?
I would say, as with anything in life and any transition, you have most likely felt nervous before. Remember that just like that time, it's temporary.
Yes.
And everyone feels that way. And so it's okay. You know, reach out to people that you trust, to family, to people that are going through the same thing that you are, because chances are they're having the same exact feelings as you are. And remember, it's temporary.
Yeah. I know a lot of me and my friends, since it's our junior year, we've been feeling overwhelmed, just trying to figure it out. So that's very good advice. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching today's episode of The Edge on college and transitioning. Hopefully Ms. Steffen and I answered some important questions that each student may have in thinking about their future. Over 66% of Peters Township High School graduates will attend college, but it's important to the rest of the students to know what their other options are. If you're a student who has questions, visit the guidance office and schedule a time to discuss with Ms. Steffen. Thank you.